This week, a special preseason edition of Inside the NFL. How teams map their championship strategies in a way never before possible.
The old joke was always, well, how long is your plan? Well, if I've got a 3-year contract, it's a 3-year plan, and if I've got a 6-year contract, it's a 6-year plan.
Welcome to our 24th season of Inside the NFL. I'm Len Dawson, along with my friends and co-hosts, the talented Chris Collinsworth, the handsome man in black, Jerry Glanville, and a man that I've sat beside for 22 years, Nick Buonacani. Nick, congratulations. You must be very excited. You're a finalist in the voting for the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
Yes! All right!
Lenny, I'm sure you know how that feels because you are in the Hall of Fame. If I make it to the Hall, guys, I'll tell you one thing. I'll be representing some of the greatest defensive players to ever play the game, the no-name defense of 72.
Yes, sir.
Well, what do you think, man? We got one in the Hall of Fame. We got another one who will be in, have Super Bowl rings. Who will be the next on this show to go in the Hall of
Which
Fame?
one?
Will it be Jerry Glanville?
Give me your credentials.
Whose teams went to 4 Super Bowls. They had to buy tickets, but they went to 4 Super Bowls.
Would it be Collinsworth? Only guy in Bengals history had more drop passes than catches.
Not against your team, I did.
You did get some against
those. Those are wonderful credentials, but Jerry, I'm going to have to ask you to leave because we have a guy joining us on the program that his credentials might be a little stronger than you two guys.
Yeah, you have to move.
Coach Jerry, the newest member of our team.
Is this fair?
How about that? You going way over there.
That's right. Dan Marino.
All right.
Welcome to the team.
Well, thanks. Glad to be here. I have to feel comfortable as a quarterback. I got a great wide receiver right here to my left. An ex-Dolphin, Nick, been buddies for a long time, and 2 old, great quarterbacks, myself and you, right? The only thing I can't deal with is an ex-coach that thinks he knows everything.
All coaches are that way.
He had that problem in Miami, remember that?
I can tell he had some bad coaching when he was a player.
It's not going to take him long to figure out that maybe you don't know just about everything. Hey, Danny, since you've retired as a quarterback of the Miami Dolphins after 17 years, some very exciting things have happened in your life. After quarterbacking the Miami Dolphins for 17 years, becoming the most prolific quarterback in the history of the game, you announced your retirement. They sealed your locker and all your equipment. They also named a boulevard after you near the stadium. But the biggest night, 55,000 fans showed their appreciation for all you've accomplished.
I don't know what to say. This has been an unbelievable night for me. From the bottom of my heart, I love you guys. I love Dolphin fans. And thank you so much for coming, making this such a special night.
Wow, all those people, and they love you, they were cheering for you. What was that feeling like?
It was an incredible summer, Lenny. To have 55,000 fans for me and my family, it's a night we'll never forget.
And they love him until he picks the Dolphins to lose the first time. Get him out of here.
I'm not going against the Dolphins.
You know, there have been a lot of interesting things happen in the offseason. One I'm going to be watching very closely is the fact that Bruce Smith is now a member of the Washington Redskins. Good move, because I think he gives him a shot at going to the Super Bowl.
You're right. He provides that leadership, much like Keyshawn Johnson. Going from the Jets to Tampa Bay takes Tampa Bay to a whole nother level. The Jets will regret that trade.
Hey, Nick, you're talking about Tampa Bay, and you're talking about the offense. Tampa Bay is all about defense. And 2 weeks ago, they made a real bad move. They cut Brad Culpepper, the defensive tackle. He was part of that chemistry. And now Warren Sapp and John Lynch, they're all mad that they lost their sidekick.
All that Tampa defense is going to be fine. Oh, come on. The question on Tampa is going to be their quarterback, Sean King. Here's a guy I think is going to be a talented player, but just simply too inexperienced right now. And really, you could name a couple other teams in that category. They have the talent to win the Super Bowl, certainly Minnesota, but can Dante Culpepper get it done? The Denver Broncos, but not with Brian Griese, not at this point in his career. Great talent on those teams, but too young at the quarterback position.
Talk about quarterback situations. How about the Dolphins? Dave Wanstead names Jay Fiedler the starting quarterback. Who do you think should be starting down there?
Nick, you're putting me on the spot right away.
Absolutely.
Well, I'm not sure Jay Fiedler earned it. He only played one half of football this summer. I think Damon Ewert earned it. Last year, He won 4 games as a starter, take most of the snaps this summer in summer camp. He earned the job.
Well, you think this is the last time he's going to put you on the spot?
No way.
And he's going to do it, he's going to do it, he's going to do it, and I probably might even do it every once in a while. Later on in the show, we'll have our selections for Week 1. Last year, you may recall, I won the picks competition, but this year, Dan Marino is aboard to make a challenge. Right now, we have a special that chronicles the task of building a championship team in the 21st century, where Super Bowl teams can be assembled seemingly overnight.
Super Bowl 34 signaled more than a shift in the traditional power structure of the National Football League. The St. Louis Rams and the Tennessee Titans proved the era of instant champions to be more than a trend, but a reality. The rules have changed, and suddenly Cinderella's glass slipper is one size fits all.
It used to be you hire a new coach, he comes in with a 5-year contract. You expect that coach to, in the third and fourth year, to show improvement, to be where he needs to be in the 5th year.
The old joke was always, well, how long is your plan? Well, if I've got a 3-year contract, it's a 3-year plan, and if I've got a 6-year contract, it's a 6-year plan.
Well, the reason I had a 5-year plan, I had a 5-year contract. See, I'd have had a 6-year plan if I had a 6-year contract or a 3-year plan.
Perhaps the greatest example of the 5-year plan is the Pittsburgh Steelers, who had the luxury of time to build through the draft and meticulously developed a dynasty.
We were able to make decisions on our people based on who were the best players and who could best help us win.
We'll get worse before we get better. We actually said that.
And they did get better. By the time Pittsburgh had won its 4th Super Bowl, many of the Steelers had been together for nearly a decade.
That was all BC, before Cap.
Things have changed quite a bit.
Nowadays, 5-year plan, it's gone. It's history.
Suddenly a 2-year plan emerged out of that.
The 5-year plan is for an expansion team.
I think you're pushing it when you're saying 5 years, because it's hard to keep a team together for 5 years.
When you come in and they expected to win, and then you get a quarterback, you don't have a receiver. You get a receiver, you don't have a quarterback. You get a quarterback, you don't have an offensive line. You get an offensive line, you don't have a quarterback. But the fans don't see that, and then the coach gets fired.
It all changed not only with free agency in 1993, but more importantly with Carolina and Jacksonville.
In 1996, as the Green Bay Packers culminated Mike Holmgren's 5-year plan by winning the Super Bowl, both the Panthers and Jaguars played for a conference title in just their 2nd year of existence.
Jaguars have done the improbable. We're going to Green Bay! We're going to the frozen tundra!
What happened with Jacksonville and Carolina in their first years of existence changed the stakes and the way the game is played and the way the game is perceived.
Owners around this league saw Carolina and Jacksonville get good quicker than most of their teams are. And they're saying, if we're not showing signs midway year 2, late year 2, then the guy's job is going to be in jeopardy. We want to win. That's what we're here to do. It's very simple. There's not a lot of mathematics to it. We are here to win.
Every year is a new challenge, but every year is now.
In building a football machine designed to win quickly, there are many methods of gathering parts. One way is a free agency system that can add talent to poor teams while simultaneously depleting strong ones.
And you can add to your team immediately, and it has resulted in a lot of teams really having complete turnarounds from losing seasons to winning seasons. But that's where you can, in an attempt to win now, mortgage the future.
You're not going to go out and overreach for 2 free agents and sign them for some huge amount of money, and the next thing you know, old Jed's a millionaire, but you're in serious cap trouble.
There's a trend, I think, now more and more to go with younger players, because you'll have them with you 3, 4, 5 years. And if they'll learn your system of football quickly and adapt quickly, they can play just as well as the aging veteran.
Drafting young stars at key positions while adding mid-range free agents to fill the gaps has created a new breed of contender.
You're looking at a 2 to 3 year window with the group of players you have, and then you reload and you go on to your next window.
The window of opportunity can slam shut on a team that holds dear its past, but must begin its future. those who defined a franchise are now deemed too expensive to keep under the salary cap.
With some teams and some owners even not wanting to spend the type of money to take that team to another level, realistically, those days are over of keeping a nucleus together like we had in Buffalo.
In trying to keep a champion together, the Rams signed MVP Kurt Warner to a 7-year contract backloaded sufficiently to keep St. Louis from cap troubles for at least the next 3 years. For each team, the goal remains the same. It's the way of getting there amidst this new championship paradigm, which is as different as the 31 teams of the National Football League.
It could come down to this with 1:17 to go. 14-13 Bucks. Brett Conway to kick.
Brad Johnson to hold. This is for a trip to the championship game.
Last season, one botched field goal was all that kept the Washington Redskins from advancing to the NFC Championship game. It was a disappointing ending to their first visit to the playoffs in 7 long years.
And the Redskins are going to lose this game.
In response, the Redskins embarked on one of the most aggressive off-season spending programs in league history. They signed star players to long-term deals, players that other teams couldn't afford to re-sign. They did it without losing any key players, and even added 2 of the first 3 overall draft picks to the roster in LeVar Arrington and Chris Samuels. This win-now attitude is the mandate of team owner Dan Snyder. He's been criticized for doing things differently, but criticism hasn't prevented Snyder from running things his way.
You know, I didn't realize there was a policy manual on being an owner. I didn't read it. And I think that I'm passionate, I care. Why beat around the bush? Why not be obvious? Why not be passionate up front and let everybody know we have one goal, it's to win the Super Bowl.
Since last May, when he took control of this football team, we've looked at every opportunity we possibly could to find a way to get better.
Next to my family, this is what I care about. And what's happened with the Redskins and the team is that it's become my family. It's become an extension of my family.
If Snyder's hands-on approach has drawn fire from outside the Redskins organization, it's won the respect of his coaches and players.
We get a great sense of pleasure out of knowing that we have somebody that wants to win as much as we do.
He doesn't settle for nothing but the best, and he's going to do whatever it takes to get the guys that he knows is going to win.
You know, he's fun to work for because he gives you everything you want. You know, and he said, I want to win. You know, what does it take for us to win? I mean, how could he ask for anything more?
Critics say that a win-now mentality translates into a lose later, and that down the road, the salary cap will punish this year's signing frenzy. The Redskins have no regrets.
I mean, everybody's backed up to the cap. I mean, you look at everybody every year. They're redoing contracts and they're doing those things. I mean, that's just the nature of the business. It comes down to decisions. Do you want this guy or do you want that guy?
In college, every year you graduate, a 4th-year team, and you recruit. Basically, that's what's happening in the NFL now. Through free agency, you're losing players, you're adding players.
As the additions put the Redskins as favorites to win the Super Bowl, the air at training camp this year was thick with high expectations. Expectations create pressure. The players have a definite goal, but it lies at the end of a long, tough road.
Show it! That's the way to work back. That's the way to go. Shove it, shine! Move your feet.
Work the feet. Take the proper steps. Here we go. Back. Back. There you go. Back. Back. Don't get yourself like this. You get yourself like this, you're stuck. Get your hand in here like this and get your hand down through so you get up the field.
Dan Snyder is a businessman, and the 2000 Redskins are a big investment that he'll be watching closely. The Redskins have no margin for error, and if the team does not win immediately, no one will be surprised if heads start rolling.
We have a lot of work to do. I've been fortunate. I was on a team. I was able to get there a couple times and win it. I know how hard it is, but I also know that it can be done, and that's what I have to have our team realize.
on paper, we're well matched up against any team in the National Football League. We just have to get the job done.
We expect to be great, and I think if you raise the expectations and people start to dream, people start to work for that, and people expect that.
We're all in it to win a championship. That's why I came here, to win a championship, and I expect to win a championship, and I know the rest of the guys feel the same way.
Come on, get up here.
I mean, it's either now or nothing. I mean, it's better to do it now than to wait for it to happen.
We expect, a world of ourselves because we put so much into what we have going on this offseason. And, when the whistle blows, we're going to be ready to roll.
Teams say, okay, we got the Redskins, it's a win. Now we got the Redskins. Oh,
we've got some high expectations, obviously. We look at one goal, and it's Super Bowl.
All eyes will be on the Redskins this season. They have been given an opportunity to win it all, but nothing less will be accepted. Their owner has done what he thinks will build a winner. Now, all the Washington Redskins have to do is win.
The trophy case has to get a lot bigger in the lobby.
The Seattle Seahawks surprised everyone by winning the AFC West last season, their first under new head coach Mike Holmgren.
Final home game ever at the Kingdome. The Seahawks, the Miami.
Though they lost to Miami in the playoffs, their pain was offset by the vivid impact their coach had made on the team.
I think what he brings to this franchise is not only the desire to win, but the expectation that he will win. It kind of permeates through the whole organization, just that expectation that we will win.
He brought a new attitude here. He brought that winning attitude that he had in Green Bay and San Francisco, and he's like a dictator. He wants you to get the job done.
He's been where we all want to be, and so when he says something, you don't second guess him. If we just follow along and trust in him, that he's going to get us to the Super Bowl.
Holmgren finally has the autonomy he's long sought. Now he faces the realities of shaping a winner.
I still believe that you build your team foundationally and then go into the free agent market if you have to.
I think our philosophy is to try to give ourselves a chance to win every year. I don't think we want to, shoot everything we have in any given year and then go through a situation where we have to rebuild or release a lot of players. I think we want to give ourselves the talent on the field to give our coaches a chance to go to the Super Bowl every year.
I have a very generous owner. However, under the rules, I did not want to get into a position where in a couple of years we couldn't dig ourselves out of a hole. And I did not want to go 4-12 or 3-13 because of salary cap problems. Having said that, we still have to win.
And they'll have to win without their best wide receiver, Joey Galloway, who was traded to Dallas rather than acquiesce to his agent's cap-crippling salary demands. Thus began the second season of the Holmgren regime at Seattle's summer camp at Kirkland, Washington.
Hands tight. Sprint through there now. Sprint through that chute. Here you go. Set. Come off hard. Do it again. Do it again. Let's do it again.
Other than Galloway's well-publicized subtraction, Holmgren's biggest off-season move came in the college draft. But before he chose Alabama running back Shaun Alexander, he paid a courtesy call to explain the choice to the incumbent starter, talented, tempestuous Ricky Watters.
I thought that was really cool about how he handled it. I thought it was very classy of the organization as well. I know that a lot of that had to do with Coach and calling me before they even made the pick and telling me exactly what their thought process was.
Drafting a premier runner like Alexander gives Seattle a young back to groom and takes the pressure off Watters. At age 31, Ricky had over 300 carries last year. He took a pounding and wore down as the season progressed.
The idea of keeping Ricky fresh by substituting for him on occasion is a good one, and we'll be a better football team because of it. Also, Shaun gets to watch an all-pro back and learn from an all-pro back.
Smash mouth, loud mouth, Ricky Watters scores.
Well, Ricky's already a great player, Pro Bowls and Super Bowl championships, and he'll tell me like something I need to do that'll give me a more of an advantage against defenses. You get a person like that on your side, it's really hard not to learn at a fast rate.
I think Ricky's at the point
in his career where he understands it's his twilight, and Sean Alexander is eventually going to become, the go-to guy in the backfield. He could block, he could catch, he could run. When you play in the West Coast style of offense, you look for a guy that fits. Sean Alexander is a fit for that style of offense. I think Ricky at this point will put his ego aside and make the team number one and make the personal commitment that it takes to help the Seahawks win.
For Holmgren to win, he must receive better play from the quarterback position. Many around the league are surprised the second-year coach has stayed with John Kitna as his starter.
He needs to play better, and I would expect him to with a year of experience under his belt. And this is an important year for him. He got us into the playoffs. He got the Seahawks into the playoffs for the first time in 12 years. And so that alone said he did okay.
Everybody still kind of doubted what kind of player I was, and I knew that when Coach Holmgren came here, that he was going to have the respect around the league that says, if I can play for him, that I can play in this league. And that's what you want as a player. I want to know if I'm good enough.
John Kitna is dynamite.
Unfortunately for John Kitna, he plays for a coach accustomed to having superstars named Montana, Young, and Favre under center. Kitna's the key for Seattle in the year 2000. In Chicago, where defense is usually king, comes year 2 of the Dick Sharon era, which has seen a wide-open passing game and the careful development of quarterback Cade McNown. Both were introduced last season, and both are expected to pay big dividends this year as the Bears eye their first playoff berth since 1994.
Defensively, I thought it was difficult to prepare for a team that was multiple. We do a variety of things with a variety of personnel.
Just wide open. Those guys are trying to score every play.
And one of our plays that we've run really successful at is one of our wide receiver screens. And we bring him in right there, and we block out and send the line, then coming back in where all the people are.
Gary Croton's imaginative offense is based on spreading out a defense and creating mismatches through a blizzard of formations and pattern combinations.
It's such a quick reacting offense, and you need to be able to see things before they happen.
Quarterback has the right to audible to what he feels. He sees certain coverage, he can change.
Say if you've got, read 1, 2, and 3, it might not be 1, 2, 3. It might be 1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3 Chicago passers threw for better than 1,000 yards in 1999. Amazingly, the trio had combined for just one NFL start prior to the season, proving Croton's system as quarterback friendly.
We come to the sideline and we tell the coach we see certain things. Gary Croton is a man with great ideas. He might draw a play up on the sideline and let you run it.
This year I feel like it's the Chicago Bears offense. It's not my offense anymore. It's the Chicago Bears, and that's the way it has to be.
And they want guys to buy into this system, and I think guys believed in it. We saw we could win if we gave that effort.
In an era when young quarterbacks are thrown to the wolves and then quickly discarded, Chicago took a different course with Cade McNown. In hoping to speed his maturation on and off the field, the Bears showed restraint and made 1999 a learning year.
They felt he would fit the new system that was coming in. So not only did we have a new offensive system, but the entire coaching staff was new, and we wanted a young player to come in and immediately learn from day one the new system along with the coaching staff.
We did not want him watching. We wanted him in every game, and so we gave him a series, sometimes 2 series in every single game. And it was always when the game was still in the balance.
I think they did it the right way. They want to throw them into the fire and get them that experience, which I think is very important as a young player. I think you should play right away.
I'm going to make some mistakes. I mean, there's no question about it. You can be in your 15th year in the NFL and you're going to make mistakes, but the question is whether or not you're repeating your mistakes and whether or not you're limiting those mistakes.
To help McNown's learning curve, the Bears re-signed receivers Marcus Robinson and Bobby Ingram. Chicago then signed 3 free agents to go with rookie Brian Urlacher, a man expected in time to be the next great Bears linebacker. The nucleus for the next 4 years is now in place.
Players that are surrounding our quarterback, Cade, that we took last year should all peak about the same time to give us a chance. Hopefully that works. If that doesn't, then you look at the unrestricted market and you look at the draft, and hopefully you can get some help there.
From a cap perspective, you have to have young players integrated as soon as possible because you can't have 22 high-priced starters on a team. It won't work.
It's a combination of making sure you keep your football team together, the right ones on your football team, and bringing in the type of guys that can be impact players for you.
You know, we're not projecting out 3 years. I mean, we can look at it and say, well, these guys are signed for this length of time, but does that mean we don't want to win this year? No, we want to win right now.
Winning now, or winning at all, has been a struggle for the New Orleans Saints since their inception in 1967. As the only pre-merger franchise never to win a playoff game, futility was as familiar to New Orleans as hangovers and jambalaya. At times it seemed they couldn't get out of their own way. The hopes of each rebuilding cycle were quickly overrun by the gloom of another second division finish. Trying to turn the Saints around stretched the sanity of many a head coach.
I'm totally embarrassed and totally ashamed. Coaching did a horrible job. The players did a horrible job. We got our ass kicked in that second half. It sucked.
They're not snake bitten. There's no pattern. It's a fact that they haven't developed what I believe is the most important thing to become a champion. That's develop a team in every phase of the game.
In 1997, the Saints turned to Mike Ditka, giving him full control of football operations.
It'll get better. It'll get better. Rome wasn't built in a day.
Ditka put his eggs in a basket named Heath Schuler. When both the eggs and Schuler ended up smashed, the team went shopping for a franchise player.
The New Orleans Saints select Ricky Williams, running back, University of Texas. Washington traded its first-round pick to New Orleans in return for the following picks: 1st, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th round picks in this draft, 1st and 3rd round picks in next year's draft.
While Williams suffered from injuries and inconsistency, the team needed much more than one player could provide. Once thought to be a playoff contender, New Orleans plunged to a dismal 3-13. By year's end, Ditka was gone, and the Saints were starting over again, once again.
I made a statement to fans and the city of New Orleans that I was going to take whatever steps necessary to assure that we get a winning season, and that we had to do it. That's what happened.
The challenge awaiting new general manager Randy Mueller and head coach Jim Haslett was major. Without the draft picks lost in the Williams trade, restocking the roster with young starters was not an immediate option.
We had to fill in the 4 or 5 picks from last year, the 2 that we're missing this year. So, yeah, our first draft was really in free agency.
We're just trying to get a good blend. Guys we feel that are not really too old that in 2 years or 1 year that they're going to fall off the edge, but guys that can still help us for 4 or 5 years.
Through free agency, New Orleans signed 11 new starters, including receivers Joe Horn and Jake Reed, and linebacker Charlie Clemens.
It all comes down to spending the money and dividing your cap amongst the right players.
After a string of disappointments, finding the right quarterback was a priority.
We couldn't talk to an assistant coach, an agent, another player, a fan, without the first question out of their mouth not being, what are you going to do at quarterback?
Well, we sat down, we said, well, let's get ourselves a quarterback so we can hire some people.
On the first day of free agency, the Saints got their man, Cincinnati's Jeff Blake.
Jeff's the guy we wanted. He was the #1 guy that we thought on the board, and we went out and did it about an hour after free agency opened.
The Saints were, real sure of what they wanted and who they wanted.
and that's why I decided so quick to come to the Saints.
Blake can really do some things to open up the field. I know Blake has had some very good years a couple of years ago, and we hope to get him back to that form.
We're going to try to really develop the offense around him, take advantage of what he does best. He has a big, lively arm, and he's mobile, so we got to take advantage of what he does.
New Orleans is hoping that Blake's presence will allow Williams to flourish after a tough rookie season.
You come into your rookie season with all these expectations, and you think that you're going to go out there and fulfill them all. But when you get hurt in the first preseason game, and then you overcome that, and you get hurt again, and you overcome that, and you get hurt again, it's just really frustrating.
He doesn't need to be a leader. He doesn't need to necessarily always be a part of the crowd. We have acquired some veteran leaders now that we're going to lean on, and they're going to lead.
He just needs to run the football, have any problems, come to the veteran guys, and let us take care of it for him. Don't worry about anything surrounding him. Just once I hand him the football, run, Ricky, run.
For the franchise that has tried everything and failed, yet another fresh start poses the questions. Are things indeed different on the Bayou, or is New Orleans the same old swamp dweller?
You know, everybody's impatient nowadays, and I think it's going to be a little bit harder here just from the circumstances the last couple of years, but it can be done.
I don't think the expectations are unrealistic. I think that's what we're all striving for, so hopefully we'll get there soon.
For the Baltimore Ravens, the memories of their 1996 cap troubles are still fresh in their minds.
We had to cut Andre Rison, cut Pepper Johnson, and cut Donnie Griffin. That was the only way we could sign our draft choices.
Unable to fill all of their holes, the Ravens stumbled to losing records in each of their first 3 years in Baltimore.
Cap penance is a bad place because you may be forced to release players who can contribute to your football team, but you just from a cap standpoint can't have on your football team. You'll build your football team, you'll compete, hopefully you win, and at a moment in time, you win for a few years, at a moment in time, you're just going to have to reload in this system. You just have to reload. It's impossible to avoid.
Let's go find it together now. Here we go.
With the team rebuilt through the draft, Brian Billick was hired in 1999 to take Baltimore to the next level.
We knew we had a good group personnel-wise defensively, that it had been in the lower half of the league in terms of its production. And so for that group to come together as a team defensively and end up the number 2 ranked defense in the league, I think was a success.
Last year I was hoping that the defense could maintain the level of play they had achieved the previous year, and that we as an offense could show some life. We didn't do that at the beginning of the year. But near the end of the year, when Tony became the quarterback, things started to turn around for us.
Under Tony Banks, the Ravens offense took flight as Baltimore won 5 of its last 7 games.
We had to settle in and find a quarterback for ourselves, which we did eventually. I think we had to look successfully at a team that over the last 9 games averaged better than 25 points a game. And by most people's standards, 8-8 would not be a real lofty goal. But for this organization that had yet to have a non-losing season, that was a big step for us.
Just look around. Look around what's going on in the league. Everything is just sitting right there if we just keep getting better and better and better.
There is parity in why so many teams feel like they really are within grasp of a championship, because there is that chance for transition in any given year.
With many of the pieces in place, free agent tight end Shannon Sharp was seen as an impact player who could push the Ravens into the playoffs.
I'm here to try to help this ball club. Obviously, they think I'm a very integral part of this offense, and I can help this ball club get to where they want it to be. We got no production out of the tight end position, so it was basically an easy thing to upgrade. I think if I just lead by example, if they see me hustling, they see me going out there trying to make all the plays, studying, trying to make sure I do everything right, they're gonna, they're just gonna pick up suit. We've learned a lot. Everything we do, we don't do it with just the eye on, is it gonna help us this year, but how is it gonna affect us down the road?
That road will include receiver Travis Taylor and fellow 2000 draft picks Jamal Lewis and quarterback Chris Redmond. The addition of Redmond and veteran Trent Dilfer gives Baltimore alternatives at quarterback should Banks regress to his St. Louis form. But for now, the fifth-year pro is the Ravens' man under center.
He's our quarterback. He's a guy that right now we plan on riding into this season. This is the first time that Tony's been in the same offense for 2 consecutive years. So
that's going to give Tony an opportunity to remove that potential off his back and show the type of quarterback that he truly is.
Blitz is coming. Banks rolls out to his right. Now scrambling around. They got a hand out, throwing wide open. Jermaine Lewis, touchdown!
Well, I like Coach Billick's system. You know, I like the freedom he gives the quarterback, especially once he got comfortable with me.
And hopefully this year with Tony having a year underneath his belt and everyone being in Brian's system for, the past year, we can come out the gates a lot faster.
For the Ravens, the window of opportunity is open and inviting, putting the team in a contending position for the first time since arriving in Baltimore.
We're on a very sound footing here. I think that our expectation is to improve this year to be a legitimate playoff team, and I think that sets us up then to take the next logical step to be a legitimate Super Bowl contending team.
Everybody around this time is undefeated, high expectations, but some teams are still better than others, and for once, I'm on one of those teams.
I think that people looking at us right now definitely look at us better than they looked at St. Louis last year at this point. So, I mean, if they could do it, then I see no reason why we can't.
My dream is to wake up in the morning and the Super Bowl trophy is sitting on my nightstand in my house, and I get to nudge my wife and say, look, this is ours. This is what we earned through our effort. How great will that be?
While the Ravens dream of their first Super Bowl, the 49ers have won 5. But there's been a vast sea change in the Bay Area. San Francisco's glory days are over.
Young almost falls down. Throws to the end zone. He caught it. Touchdown pass. Niners will win it. Niners will win it.
Both Steve Young and 5 Super Bowl trophies are now merely memories.
Young's been hurt. I mean, Steve's really been hurt. He's out.
Young's concussion devastated the team and led to the retirement of the most accurate passer in NFL history.
Steve has been a big part of what the 49ers have been the past 20 years. To have a leader like that has gone through all those battles, obviously it's going to be missed.
It became a frustrating thing here because we got into a tailspin and we couldn't get out of it. So the offseason didn't come soon enough.
I think it's common knowledge that they were in a tremendously negative situation this year, where Bill Walsh is coming in and trying to do the best he can to fix things there. But under the rules that we play under right now, it's very, very difficult.
The salary cap was implemented to give every owner a chance to hold up the championship trophy. But the reverse effect of that is that every team has a down cycle.
They charged for so long, and then eventually you have to pay the bill.
Well, we all have a credit card in our wallet, and right now we're paying off that credit card debt.
An important salary cap question answered in the offseason concerned the great Jerry Rice.
Jerry was really intent on finishing his career here. He wanted to play further into his career, at least 1 or 2 years. So it was really important to us to somehow match up our salary cap problems with Jerry Rice's needs.
His role will be to be a productive receiver at the Z position where he's been all along, and also to be one of our true leaders on the football team. Will he catch 120 passes like he's done before? Probably not.
He's a legend. All the players idolize this man, and his work ethic makes a huge difference to all of us. We're really pleased to have him at least 1 more year.
But the 49ers' cap-strapped era has left Mariucci without a premier quarterback. That's the prime challenge for the head coach and his offensive coordinator, Marty Morningweg.
Pick the level up, pick the level up, here we go.
Quarterback is the heartbeat of a football team, and if you don't clearly have that position defined, you're going to struggle. Steve Young and Joe Montana have been in the reins of the 49ers for as long as I can remember, and you're talking about 2 of the greatest quarterbacks ever to play in this game. But times move on, and right now, they have to find that quarterback of the future, and right now, everything is up in the air.
That's it, that's it. Somebody sit in it. There you go, there you go, there you go. You get them on their heels.
We had to complete every pass in this drill, Tim. I don't care if it's 75 throws in a row. We're against air. Why, darning?
Jeff Garcia is the new starter.
Jeff suffered from the fact that he was behind Steve Young and almost apologetic when he was expected to play because he knew people were disappointed Steve wasn't there. And so he allowed that to affect him.
When Jeff was thrown to the Wolves, he was flat underprepared to do this.
Jeff, throw it away!
I know you have to be prepared for every sort of situation, but I never anticipated that I'd be the starting quarterback. It was kind of getting thrown into the fire.
Push up in the pocket, set your feet, fundamentals, baby.
I definitely had my ups and downs, and probably more so downs than ups.
Garcia sweeps toward the corner. He'll walk in. Touchdown, 49ers. Jeff Garcia scores.
Despite their dire straits at the quarterback position, San Francisco's management concentrated on defense in the draft.
Chandler straight back drop into the end zone. Moves to his. He's going to get sacked for a safety. Brian Young gets the safety.
With 4 picks in the first 2 rounds, they chose Michigan State linebacker Julian Peterson and Ohio State cornerback Ahmad Plummer as twin number 1s, followed by Virginia Tech defensive end John Engelberger and Texas Aggie defensive back Jason Webster in the 2nd round. The team's drafting priorities were a huge relief to defensive coordinator Jim Mora.
Bill Walsh and Steve Mariucci are essentially offensive-minded coaches. You know, there was always that temptation, but fortunately they resisted that, recognized that we had such great needs on defense, and made what I felt were great selections for the future here.
San Francisco finally drafted a quarterback in the 3rd round, causing eyes to widen by picking Hofstra quarterback Giovanni Carmazzi.
Carmazzi looking for 6. Touchdown, Hofstra!
Giovanni is a very talented guy. He has a learning process to go through, but what a talent.
Gio, you must be a rookie. Will you complete every one of these? Do I have to show you how to do this?
Gio Carmazzi is a special guy. He's an outstanding athlete. He can move, he can avoid, and he's got good size. The difference between Hofstra football and playing against the St. Louis Rams is significant. So he's going to probably take a full year before he's really ready to contribute.
I'm not really worried about where I am depth chart wise. Right now I'm just trying to learn my reads, know what my progression is, know what I'm supposed to be doing on every play. Once I get those things down, you know, that might be in a year, maybe 6 months, you never know. But whenever you get those things down, then you start worrying about your role on this team.
Gio, hands, hands, like you're playing the guitar. Here, we're not like this. All right, inside.
Will he be the long-term answer? Only time will tell. But clearly, coming out of college, I think he gives himself and the 49ers a chance to have a quarterback for a long time.
We try not to use the word rebuilding very often. We've always used the word reload. We have a lot of new players, obviously, but the goals cannot change. These young kids coming in here have to know that we need to add to our trophy case, and that's why we're here.
Due to the salary cap, the NFL's greatest dynasty has been reduced to the league's least talented team. The 49ers' glory days are definitely over.
Back to throw Montana. Stepped up, throws. Touchdown, 49ers!
In today's game, the once distant dreams of Super Bowl glory are now within reach of every owner, every player, every team. And in a sport where each step is meticulously choreographed on and off the field, the best laid plans can quickly be obliterated by the weekly chaos which is the NFL. The coming season will reveal if Dan Snyder can purchase a championship, or if the Saints' umpteenth rebuilding is finally the charm. Brian Billick will soon discover if there's life after cap hell in Baltimore, while Steve Mariucci's 49ers will demonstrate how long that sentence can be. Chicago's Cade McNown is under pressure to grow up quickly. It's the same scenario for Mike Holmgren's Seahawks. In the era of instant champions, time waits for no team. Has the game changed for the better? Is having great players for a short time better than never having them at all? Is a brief run at a title better than years of mediocrity? The answer is that the game on the field has changed little. It still comes down to men against men.
So it all comes down to this. Back to throw is McNair. He's got Kevin Dyson, reaches to the goal line. No, he falls at the 1. Time runs out. That's it.
That's it, baby.
That's it.
That's it.
And you gotta love it.
And while the game is the same, the rules surrounding it have indeed changed. Whether it's better or worse is yet to be determined. One thing is clear. Where once the NFL trumpeted, "On any given Sunday," there is now a new mantra of the times. On any given season, any team can win the Super Bowl.
6 teams displaying how they would like to build a championship team and win a Super Bowl. But, Nick, I saw a lot of owners involved in making the selection of players. It used to be the coaches did all of that.
Yeah, it's not always that good, you know, Lenny, because look at Cincinnati and Mike Brown. Mike Brown, an owner, all he ever does is balance the talent pool. He gets rid of Carl Pickens, so he signs Peter Warwick. Instead of having Pickens and Warwick for Keely Smith to throw to, he doesn't do it. They'll never get out of the basement.
Why is he always against your team? They may not win, but they've got a real nice stadium there now.
Stadium.
You know, we really have been talking about the fact that the owners now are having such a big role in the National Football League. I think bigger than they ever have in the history of this game. And nowhere is that more true than in Washington with Daniel Snyder. Here's a guy you may not agree with his style of ownership, but he's taking his shots. He's firing all his bullets trying to win a Super Bowl this year. And with the number of Super Bowls that Dan Marino and I have lost, we appreciate that approach. We really do.
We'd love to get that ring. And I really like what Daniel Snyder's doing. Last year, the Washington Redskins were a field goal away from getting in the NFC Championship game. Anytime you have a chance to get Deion Sanders and Bruce Smith and help that team, you got to take that shot.
But there's a downside to that style. You mortgage the future, and all of a sudden now you end up like the Dallas Cowboys or the 49ers, and you have the dips. Hey, I wouldn't worry about that downside. Speaking of dips. Hey, don't worry about that downside. I've been a Detroit Lion fan all my life, and when I was there coaching, we're 7-7. I left, they're 8-8. They don't have a downside because they never had that upside.
There is a team that's doing it the old-fashioned way, and that is through the draft. I'm talking about the Indianapolis Colts. When you got names like Manning, Harrison, and James, that means you got a shot at winning the Super Bowl. You know, speaking of the Super Bowl, I think it's time to pick right now who we think's going to win. Did I mention that I wanted to pick?
Too many times.
Okay. Here it is in the AFC. It's going to be Tennessee. In the NFC, it's going to be Tampa Bay. I'm picking these two teams because of defense, both strong defensive teams. I think Tampa Bay is going to win the whole thing.
Lenny, you just sold me on the Colts and you picked Tennessee. I love the Indianapolis Colts because of their quarterback. I'm a quarterback guy. Peyton Manning, I've seen him develop the last 3 years. He's in a position, he's ready to take this team to the Super Bowl. And in the NFC, I like the St. Louis Rams. I like them to repeat for a few reasons. On offense, they just have all kind of firepower. Kurt Warner is a great quarterback. I look for him to have a great year. And with Marshall Faulk, how could they not get to the Super Bowl?
I agree with you with the St. Louis Rams in the NFC, but it's time for somebody to pick a bit of a long shot. In the AFC, I like the Buffalo Bills. Here's a team that had the #1 defense in all of football last year. Some tremendous young talent, guys like Peerless Price, Marcellus Wiley, Sean Bryson. Watch out for the Buffalo Bills. But I'll take St. Louis to win it all. The only way the Buffalo Bills will get there if they go back, start playing Doug Flutie. Doug Flutie's got to be. You just like him because he's short. That's the only He's the only reason. guy in the league shorter than me, and they got to play Doug Flutie. Now, let's look at the NFC. For 2 years, I've been riding that horse at Tampa Bay. 2. I'm getting off that horse. Tampa Bay, you're not going to make it. I'm going with the Rams to win the whole thing because the MVP in the league is Kurt Warner, and they're going to beat the Indianapolis Colts.
How the hell do you get off the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? They got Keyshawn Johnson. Did you forget? Tampa Bay, believe me, is going to win the NFC. And the AFC, it's going to be Tennessee. They added Carl Pickens. McNair's coming into his zone. I like Tennessee also. But Tampa Bay will win the entire thing.
Well, now that we've decided who's going to win the Super Bowl, let's get right now to this particular week. Who is going to win this week? Let's start with Carolina at Washington. Daniel Snyder opened his checkbook, and he expects a Super Bowl appearance from his Redskins. Well, I think they're going to defeat Carolina. One question mark would be the left offensive tackle. He's a rookie by the name of Chris Samuels. Forget about that. He'll do an outstanding job. He works every day against Bruce Smith.
You know, Carolina did. They beefed up their defensive line. Yeah. They went out and they got Eric Swan. They got Reggie White. Of course, these two guys are ready to collect the Social Security checks, but they will play this week. I like youth over experience. I take Washington.
I like Washington for another reason. Even though Norv Turner is a quarterback coach, the offense is after you physically. I've never seen an offensive line push people back like they did in the preseason. The guard will always pull up through. Keith Sims will lead the charge at guard. I take the Redskins.
And not a bad running back in Stephen Davis. Plus, Carolina is going to start a rookie at middle linebacker, Lester Towns. All those things combined, I like Washington.
Well, Chris, we know what Washington can do on offense. I'm picking them because of star power on defense. They got Bruce Smith and Deion Sanders. And I think the best signing is having Ray Rhodes as the defensive coordinator. Right. He's going to make an impact on that defense. I like Washington.
All right, we got Chicago at Minnesota. Two quarterbacks of the class of '99 staged a shootout, Cade McNown and Dante Culpepper.
Yeah, you know, one thing about the Vikings, they lost their two best offensive linemen, Randall McDaniel and Jeff Christie, but still Robert Smith will have a big game against that Chicago defense. I like Minnesota.
I don't like either team's secondary. The corners are too soft. But if you look at the Chicago Bears, 9 yards off. Walt Harris, Thomas Smith, they have no chance of covering. I'm taking the Vikings.
And you know the Bears are going to want to try and come after Dante Culpepper in this game. But they simply cannot afford to do that, because if you try and blitz a quarterback, even a young one, when you have Randy Moss and Chris Carter on the outside, you're going to pay a heavy price. I like Minnesota.
Chris, you're going to see a lot of big plays in this game. I like the preseason that Dante Culpepper had. He developed a chemistry with Chris Carter and Randy Moss. You can see a lot of big plays, and Minnesota's going to win.
All right, Carter and Moss, a terrific duo, but what about Marcus Robinson and Bobby Ingram? Robinson last year, 1,400 yards, receptions with Chicago. I like the Bears to win that. The Bears. We got Philadelphia, Dallas. Dave Campo takes over as the head coach of the Cowboys. Jerry?
Well, he's going to wish he never took the job. He's talking about going to Big D. There's two Big Ds. One of them is the defense of the Philadelphia Eagles. Man, they fly around, they hit. I love to watch them play. And the other Big D is Deuce Staley. The Eagles win on the road.
The other Big D is Deion Sanders, who is now in Washington, which gives all kinds of problems for the Dallas Cowboys. They did add Philippi Sparks, but he hasn't played football in a long, long time. But still, there's something special about the Cowboys at home. I think they have enough offense. I like Dallas.
Well, I like the way Philadelphia Eagles blitz, and they're going to blitz a lot in this game because they have a lot of confidence in Bobby Taylor and Troy Vincent. They figure they're going to cover Joey Galloway. I like Philadelphia to win.
Joey Galloway, with all that speed, they're going to cover him for the whole ball game. No way that's going to happen. Troy Aikman can get the ball to him. I like the Dallas Cowboys.
You know, Philadelphia is going to unveil something really good for Dallas. That is Donovan McNabb. This is a guy who makes so many big plays. If you watch him scramble, he'll set it up, he'll make them. I like Philadelphia in an upset.
All right, we got the New York Jets at the Green Bay Packers. The Jets enter this season minus the best coach, Bill Parcells, the best defensive coordinator, that would be Bill Belichick, and the best wide receiver, Keyshawn Johnson. Well, other than that, I guess it's basically the same old team. Chris, what do you think?
Well, but the Green Bay Packers defense is without their best player in Brian Williams, their fine linebacker, and that means Curtis Martin should have an absolutely monster game here. I like the Jets.
Chris, I agree with you. Brett Favre and Vinny Testaverde, they're going to be rusty. They didn't play that much this preseason. It's going to be all about the running game. Dorsey Levin is not playing for the Green Bay Packers. Curtis Martin's going to have a great game. The Jets are going to win.
No way. The Jets have no pass rush whatsoever. And Antonio Freeman, is he a go-to guy? Yes, he is. And where's Keyshawn Johnson? He's in Tampa Bay. I don't think that that's going to happen.
No, one thing I know that Green Bay is going to do, Mike McKenzie and Tyrone Williams are cornerbacks. They're going to press Crabette and Ward. But that's still not going to be enough, because without Dorsey Levens and the receiving core of Green Bay is pretty bad. I like the Jets.
Hey, Dan said Curtis Martin's going to have a big day. Well, guess what? The Jets now have one of the best offensive lines in all of football. Kevin Mawai and Jason Fabina, they'll lead the charge. The Jets win with the offensive line. How'd you like the way I said that?
That's good. You
Kevin
got it right.
Mawai. All right. How about San Diego at Oakland? The Chargers have turned over a new leaf. That would be Ryan Leaf. He gets another shot at being the San Diego Chargers quarterback. Dan, what do you think?
Well, I played against both these teams last year. They both were 8-8, but I tell you what, Oakland has a lot more talent than San Diego. I think it's going to be real tough for Ryan Leaf to go into that stadium and beat Oakland. I'm taking Oakland.
Rich Gannon is a playmaker, and he's got some guys to go to. Tim Brown, Jerry Porter, Ricky Dudley, James Jett. He's got too much firepower. I like the Raiders.
You know, let's look at Oakland. Last year, there's a team that lost 4 games by less than 3 points, 8 games by less than a touchdown. They went out and they got Sebastian Janikowski from Florida State, and if he can stay in the country, he'll kick the field goals and win. I like the Raiders.
Hey, you're talking about wide receivers, you're talking about running backs and quarterbacks. Forget about it, because the Raiders were the #1 team running that football last year. Napoleon Kaufman and Ty Wheatley, they'll keep running that football.
Nick, I thought we had a rule that we would never talk about kickers on this show. I thought that was a rule around here.
He's not a kicker. He's about 6'3", 260. He can play defensive tackle.
That's what he is. But I agree with Lenny. A lot of wide receiver firepower for the Oakland Raiders. And right now, San Diego's secondary is really dinged up with injuries. I like Oakland.
Now let's quickly go through some of the other games. Arizona has been decimated by injuries. We like the Giants, who have high hopes for quarterback Kerry Collins and rookie running back Ron Dane. Baltimore's Ray Lewis leads a tremendous defense. We like the Ravens to defeat the Steelers, who will start Kent Graham at quarterback and possibly utilize Cordell Stewart elsewhere. Detroit might have to start Stoney Case at quarterback if Charlie Batch is not ready, but James Stewart will line up at the running back position. We like the Lions to get a win in New Orleans. Indianapolis has too much skill to slip up at Arrowhead Stadium. We all agree the Colts will defeat the Chiefs. Jacksonville won't have Leon Searcy at their offensive line, but Mark Brunell and Jimmy Smith still lead a formidable attack. Cleveland has rough times ahead. Jeff Garcia starts for San Francisco, but we agree that Atlanta will prevail thanks to the return of Jamal Anderson. Who better to start this pick selection than the man who helped defeat Seattle in the playoffs last year, Dan Marino, your last victory?
Yes, it was. And the reason why we won that game is because physically the lines on both sides of the ball for Miami beat Seattle up. Now Seattle's got to travel all the way to Miami, play in that heat. They're going to struggle with it. Third quarter, I think they're going to want to go home.
I'll tell you one thing. You need a lot of defensive linemen, to play in Miami, and Seattle doesn't have them, but 8 defensive linemen for Miami that they can interchange, and they're going to get the job done. I like Miami.
You know what happens when you go to Miami? You always expect a running game. 20 years they've been looking for a running game. Finally, J.J. Johnson, Lamar Smith will hammer it in there. They'll fold. The Seattle will fold. I like Miami.
Hey, let's not forget one thing about Seattle. Last year, the last 4 weeks, they're a terrible football team. But I'm going with Miami for a different reason. Jay Fiedler's their new quarterback. He won't turn the ball over. He won't throw an interception. He's the quarterback.
As compared to the other guy that was in there? Is that what you're trying to do? You are so cruel is what you are. I like Jay Fiedler, too. He threw 3 interceptions in his first game back the other night, the last exhibition. But he looked very sharp before those 3 interceptions. Plus, he was coming off the hip surgery. I think he'll take a step up here. Even though without O.J. McDuffie, it'll be tougher. I like Miami.
Wow, we got Tampa Bay at New England Patriots. Very excited about getting Bill Belichick and offensive coordinator Charlie Weis from the Jets. Buccaneers excited about getting Keyshawn Johnson from the Jets. Hardy Dickerson is no longer there, but Jamie Duncan is taking his place at the middle linebacking position for Tampa Bay, doing a good job. Of course, they got Warren Sapp that helps him out. I like Tampa Bay.
You have Keyshawn Johnson, right? He has a new uniform. He has a new team. But guess what? He's going against a very familiar cornerback by the name of Ty Law. Ty Law ate him up in the preseason ball game, but it won't happen here. Too much defense for Tampa Bay. I like the Bucs.
Well, the defensive line for the Bucs may be as good as there is. Warren Sapp, the MVP on defense, they got a double team him with the guard in the center. That leaves Chidi Ahanatu, the left defensive end, against a rookie, Greg Robinson Randall. 3 names. He'll never block him. I'm going with Tampa Bay.
That's as logical as anything you've ever said on this show. Talk about the offensive line from Tampa Bay. Randall McDaniel, Jeff Christie have really solidified things up there. The last 2 exhibition games, they did not give up a single sack. You add that to what they have on the defensive side of the ball, I'll take the Bucs.
Well, we all know what they can do on defense. I look at Sean King. He's going to need a go-to guy. He's got that go-to guy now in Keyshawn Johnson. He's going to make some big plays down the field. They're going to beat New England.
All right, we got Tennessee at Buffalo. The Bills want revenge for that bitter playoff defeat last year. What about it, Nick?
Well, this year here, of course, we talked about Carl Pickens, Kevin Dyson, and now Frank Wycheck. You look at that offense, that thing is really humming right now. I think Tennessee wins.
You said Carl Pickens. They got to run double coverage. That lets Eddie George run better than ever. Eddie George for the victory.
The Titans offense did not hum against this Buffalo Bills defense in the playoffs last year. I like Buffalo.
Chris, I don't think Eddie George's going to run against the Buffalo defense, so I like Buffalo.
I disagree. Did you forget about the freak, Javon Curse? Tennessee's going to win. You got Denver at St. Louis. These franchises have won the last 3 Super Bowls. Jerry, what do you think?
Well, I called the general manager for the Rams, Charlie Army. I said, how about this football team? Better pass protection than ever. Rams win.
And this is Terrell Davis's first game back on AstroTurf since he's had the injury. Could be a little tentative. I like St. Louis.
Well, Chris, I picked St. Louis to win the Super Bowl. I'm not going to go against them. I love Marshall Faulk. I think they ought to hand it to him, throw it to him. Marshall Faulk will make a difference in this game.
Well, I think St. Louis is going to win as well, not because they have new uniforms, folks, but because of their quarterback, Kurt Warner.
Well, St. Louis has that track team. They have Holt, they have Bruce, they have Akeem. That's enough for me. I like St. Louis.
Folks, that's our show for this week. Remember, Inside the NFL premieres each Thursday at 8 p.m. and 11:30 p.m. If you miss any part of it, you can catch it again Fridays at 7 p.m. and Saturdays at 11 a.m. Those times are Eastern and Pacific.
And log on to hbo.com/INFL and play our new picks game, Beat the Experts.
So for Nick, Chris, Jerry, and Dan Marino, I'm Len Dawson. Thanks for watching and enjoy this weekend's games. Ladies and gentlemen, the Tribe has spoken.
And the Tribe voted Chris off the set.